When you scroll through a sea of glossy photos and studio-perfect sound clips, it's easy to feel that buying a digital piano online is a gamble. You've probably seen a sleek black grand on a listing. Imagine the moment you'd finally be able to sit down and play a Chopin nocturne, only to wonder later whether the keys will actually feel like a real instrument, or if the speakers will drown out the subtleties you need for practice. That hesitation is real, and it's why I'm breaking down the Kawai DG30 88-key digital grand piano, so you can decide if it truly fits your home studio, bedroom, or teaching room before you click Add to Cart. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. First off, the biggest question most buyers ask is whether a digital piano can replace the feel of an acoustic. Kawai's responsive Hammer 3 action is their answer to that, and in my experience with a few mid-range digital grands, the graded weighting does make a noticeable difference. The lower keys are heavier, the higher ones lighter, mimicking the natural resistance of a wooden piano. For someone who has spent years on an acoustic, the transition feels less jarring. It's not a perfect replica. You still notice a subtle plastic tap after a long session, but the difference between this and a flat-touch keyboard is stark. If you've been frustrated by cheap keyboards that flatten out after a few minutes of scales, the DG30's action is a clear upgrade. Sound is the next battlefield. Kawai markets the progressive harmonic I engine, promising a rich, immersive tone. When you actually play a simple C major arpeggio, the harmonic layering is evident. The bass notes have that warm, resonant depth you expect from a grand, while the treble stays clear without getting brittle. The built-in speakers are positioned to fill a medium-sized room, so you can hear the nuances of a soft pedal lift without needing external amps. For a home practice space, this is a practical strength. You won't have to lug a separate sound system around. That said, if you plan to perform in a larger living room or a small hall, you'll probably want to connect the DG30 to a pair of external monitors. The Bluetooth 4 connectivity is smooth, but you'll notice a slight latency when using it for real-time playing with a phone or tablet. It's fine for playback or metronome use, but not ideal for live performance over Bluetooth. One hidden trade-off comes from the digital grand design. The instrument's sleek ebony polish looks stunning, but the body is essentially a wooden cabinet with a thin panel for the speaker system. This keeps the weight manageable. Most people can lift it without a dolly, but it also means the cabinet can vibrate slightly on hard floors. I placed mine on a laminate kitchen floor and felt a faint hum when the bass registers hit full volume. Adding a simple rug or a rubber mat solves the problem, but it's something you might not think about until you hear that low-frequency rumble. Connectivity-wise, the DG30 shines for modern musicians. The Bluetooth version 4 lets you stream backing tracks or use Kawai's own app for lesson features. I tried pairing it with a tablet running a virtual sheet music app, and the sync held steady for an entire practice session. The USB audio out is also handy if you want to record directly into a no extra audio interface needed. For teachers, the ability to connect headphones for silent practice is a practical win, especially in apartment buildings where neighbors can be sensitive to late-night piano sessions. However, the lack of USB means you can't send note data to a computer for advanced editing, which could be a deal-breaker for composers who rely on that workflow. Who should consider the DG30? If you're a serious hobbyist or a teacher who needs a reliable, responsive instrument that looks as good as it sounds, this piano hits most of the marks. The graded hammer action and solid acoustic resonance engine give you a playing experience that encourages proper technique, while the built-in speakers and Bluetooth keep your practice sessions flexible. It's also a solid choice for a small studio where space is at a premium. Its footprint is roughly that of a standard upright, but the aesthetic mimics a full-size grand. Who might skip it? If you're a concert-level performer who needs the absolute highest fidelity and the ability to fine-tune each nuance of a concert grand, the DG30 will feel a step down. The lack of USB also nudges professional composers toward other models that integrate more seamlessly with studio setups. Finally, if you live in a very noisy environment and need a piano that can stay completely silent without external headphones, you might look for a model with a more robust silent mode architecture. In day-to-day use, the DG30 proves surprisingly low maintenance. The ivory-colored keys don't collect dust as quickly as darker finishes, and the paneling wipes clean with a dry cloth. The power draw is modest, You can keep it plugged in continuously without worrying about a noticeable electricity bill. The biggest practical weakness is